Classic Plus should be an overhaul, at least in my opinion. So I wanted to make a short video just about Classic Plus and various discussions I've seen about it, and why I think it should be an overhaul rather than just a re-release. And I suppose the other option would be if you wanted to keep it exactly the same except add on endgame content or flesh out some of the missed content. So the reason why I would want an overhaul rather than just a re-release would be that it's more authentic to the vanilla experience. And what I mean by this is that part of the charm of original vanilla, the part that you can't go back to, was that it was all new. And it can never be all new again. People are familiar with key bindings, they know the general feel of the classes, the zones, the area, but it can be more new. It can be closer to new if there's more significant changes. The second part would be Classic is more than just the level 60 content. So I know many people have suggested, Izara and other things, but I feel like if you're only either just adding little bits here and there and then your main plans are level 60 content, you're missing out on where most people will spend a lot of time, which is leveling, especially in the mid-level zones. And lastly, I know many people are critical of Blizzard and their choices, but I think we can all agree that Blizzard has made some unequivocal improvements since 2005, especially on the technological level. And now that I've covered the reasons, I want to add a caveat. By overhaul, I don't mean remake retail on Classic. Instead, I'd like to see the game that they would have made if they had the tools and some of the lessons that they've learned from, running WoW for this amount of time. That's why when I make suggestions, I'm not saying to get rid of the quirkiness, to get rid of the gaps in class abilities, or the ways that buffs don't stack, or that sort of thing. What I mean is that in order to really recapture that, you have to change something. And I think the goal should be to capture the spirit of original WoW, where there's crazy items that drop from dungeons, where there's quest rewards that you'll use once in your entire time, or there are crazy things like the Skull of Impending Doom, or Trusty Pocket Watch, or all these little knickknacks around the world that add to your power. The fact that there's really good endgame farms in Arathi Highlands with the fire elementals, or that you can go to Ungoro to get your Devilsaur for a really good pre-raid set. I think all of that can stay. It's just that if you don't make larger updates to us, I think especially the graphics, it's not going to feel like you're discovering a new world, but instead going and playing the same thing over again. And I know some people are keen on the playing the same thing over again, and I think that this wouldn't get rid of the need for an actual fresh re-release of Classic, but that's been done. And I think if there was a really good time to do it, it would be after the Wrath of the Lich King Classic, rather than move on the Cataclysm. Go back and make Azeroth as good as it can be. I know there'll be some balance changes and such, but heck, that could be a lot of fun too if there were just, balance changes with the phases so that classes could, shine or be, brought in line as the game goes on. You never know. Hey, it might be worth having that enhancement shaman because they could be good next phase. You don't know. You don't know the maybe the gear's the same, but the stats are switched around, so you can still get your Dark Edge of Insanity, but now it's new and it's a different take on the same item. So in short, that's why when I talk about, or you see things on this channel about Classic Plus, I'm talking from I would like to see a larger effort, which is highly unlikely. I understand this is a fraction of a percent of a chance that Blizzard would do something along these lines, but in a perfect world, this is what I would like to see, and this is what I'm going to speak to. Anyways, thanks for listening to me rant. I appreciate you watching the video, and until next time, goodbye.